writing and agreed with them. So they said it's a no-brainer for them to give it up.
They would give it up, but they don't have nothing in writing.
Yeah, they're still waiting for something.
And that's what we asked them. Have you got anything in writing to present and to work off of? And that's when I sent you that email to the board. They said, no, we don't have. I said, well, how the hell can you be talking about it if you don't know who wants what, who's going to get it?
How big is their property?
Pardon?
How big is their?
It was a small piece.
It's not much. Yeah.
But does it butts up to our eastern border of Arbors or?
It butts up to us, but it's not very much.
Okay.
I looked at the map, it's kind of surprising why Wildcat isn't in on that, but it's not. Reserve comes around with a back.
Okay.
And, but I think, what, 75 or 100 acres?
Yeah, right.
Oh, they got,
Yeah. But it's enough to.
But he told us, he said, well, we're waiting to see what Stony Brook does. But we're going to move ahead. And I said, let me see some paperwork. What are you going to do? What are you asking? Well, we haven't got nothing.
Well,
I mean, the last time Steve Sarkozy was here, he basically said, you know, it's a dead issue unless we hear from you guys. If you guys want to go forward, fine. If not, he's not going to spend any time on it.
Well, once again, I don't think Steve and Bosch are talking because Bosch keeps pushing, you know.
well, I will try and call Steve again. If not, I'll call Bosch and tell him that you're out of the loop, that he should contact me. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm frustrated with the fact that I can't get a
You
call
got to
back
come
from
before
them.
this board.
Yeah, so I will reach out to both of them. We'll put it on the agenda for next month, and then if we don't have anything, then we're just going to drop it. I mean, I still don't get, you know, what their reasoning is, and that's my biggest.
Well, it depends on who you talk to.
Right, yes, politicians.
Well, I
it's like-
think Jim is talking about this park. I mean, I know I've heard him mention this park. whatever
Yeah,
that
well,
is.
yeah, he wants to tie it in with
Right,
Edison
so I think that's where that
Yeah.
discussion has all come from. Jim also told us a year or two ago the county wanted the property. The county had no interest in
Interesting.
that property at all.
Yeah, county has no interest.
Right, but,
I tell you who does, developers.
Yeah,
well,
And I've lived in this county and this state for 31 plus years. Let me tell you a couple things. Lee County will do exactly what they want. They'll give to you know what the village wants. Secondly, if a developer wants to develop at Edison Farms will be developed. And they'll find a way to cut a road through there. So I wouldn't give up anything. Keep fighting, because this state, let's remember, in this state of Florida, they rerouted a river. I've said that before. Think about that for a minute. They rerouted the St. Johns River into the Everglades so they could develop on the East Coast farther west. You think they're going to stop if they want to develop Edison Farms? If some developer is willing to put up $50, $100, $200 million to develop that, and that's going to add to the tax base, all these politicians are going to line up to fill their pockets. That's the bottom line. That's the way it works in this state. Sorry, this is where you live.
Well, we pressured them about 2 quarries out here. You know? Until you get this road fixed up, don't even think about it. They put it through two quarries.
Dan, you were saying something?
Yeah, the lawyer, he says right now what we're doing is speculating.
Right.
And until we have facts, you know, let's not speculate, because we could run down rabbit holes all night long.
Okay. Well, then I will reach out to Steve again, and I will reach out to Jim Bosch and speak with them, and then we can put it on the agenda for next month and leave it at that, because, you know, this is just kind of...
and that's where I was leading to. So we're talking in circles about
Right.
all this. Let's either get
I got
something on paper that we can say, okay, well, this is, or at least this is the beginning of what we're talking about, or otherwise it's just
And,
a big circle conversation.
And the other thing is, everybody keeps talking about, you know, we're going to save 50,000. It's about 30 is what we're going to save.
and if you break
Because
that,
the rest of it is this other reserve area
that we have to maintain anyway. So,
I believe your attorney's talking about, when he says the easement, I believe it's a stormwater management easement, okay? It has really nothing to do with a land conservancy easement, whereas that's supposed to be developed in perpetuity. Right? So I think there's
No, that is it.
It's a conservation easement.
It is. It is.
Yep, it's a conservation easement.
But is it in with the land conservancy?
It's under the ERP, Environmental Resource Permit, but it is a conservation easement.
Yes.
It's a dedicated
Right,
conservation
it's a
easement.
conservation, but it's not land
It has the
conservancy.
same standing as the conservancy
Okay,
land.
but there's a big difference.
No, they're not in this case, no. It was required to be set aside
Right.
as part of the entitlements for this
Right, I
property,
understand.
as part of the stormwater storage calculations, and you can't modify that without major implications.
Right.
And that I understand, but that's one of the reasons why he said to give it to the land conservancy for their easement, and then they deal with any people trying to develop it. That's the point. So there is a major difference, and that's where Deputy came in.
That's the first two questions I asked. That's our water
We
flow.
should have a proposal to debate. We don't even have a proposal right now.
And have you talked to the Southwest Florida
Yeah.
water management? Oh, we don't have to. Well, wait a minute.
All right, so I will get in touch with them, Chuck, when I speak with either or both. I will email you what came out of the conversation, you can let the rest of the board know,
Sure, that one.
and see where we stand with that, and take it from there, so.
I think, the parting comment that I heard from Steve is this really isn't high on their priority list.
No.
It's like, you're making the offer, if you want it, you want it.
If not-
you don't, you don't. So-
See, that's where the disconnect is. That, I heard that from him too.
Well, the two of them stood shoulder to shoulder, Bosch and
Right.
Steve.
Yeah. They
And
were
that
both
statement
here.
was made without any counter from Bosch, so.
But Bosch has got a different story.
Bosch is one member of a village council.
Right.
Okay? Steve is their CEO. He represents all of them, so.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll do that, I will contact them,
Never been.
and we'll take it from there.
We don't have a formal proposal from these people. Why are we arguing about something that we don't even know what they want?
Right. Well,
We're human.
yeah. Dan, I will reach out to them and I'll,
This was a small agenda.
yes, okay. Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. We'll step away from that for now and go to the, does anybody else have any questions, comments? Okay. No, none. Okay, the financial statements?
So, financial statements were as of January 31st. For the governmental funds, on page 2, we received 92% of our levies for the year so far. Everything looks pretty much on track. Contingencies,
It's a little wacky.
Yeah.
I just noticed that. I'm going to, the lion's share of that activity occurred in the prior month because the current month is only 322. That's a bit high for a month.
Yeah.
I'm going to pull the general ledger and take a look at the activities that generated those.
I had a question with that one as well.
yeah, and then down below you got tree trimming, mulch, and plant replacement, and
The
they're
seasons.
above, but it's the way it gets spread out through the year. So
Right.
there's no-
I noticed too on the fuel seems, is there?
No, I have this circled because I don't know how that, last year it was 8,000. I don't know how it got all the way down to 4. And in my notes, I went back to my budget notes. I have nothing in there about reducing the fuel budget by 50%. And, I mean,
So you're saying-
my missed part for oversight, or, not seeing it earlier, but when I seen the 63%, because I'm going through, over about a third through, and I'm like,
Right.
what's going on? Like, and I went back, I was like, 4,000? I was like, that's really low. So I went back to last October of 19, or September of 19, and I looked back at the budget, I'm like, no, I had 8,000 there. So I went back to my budget notes for the year change and everything. I don't know. I don't know why it's half of what it was last year. But Because at that rate, we'd be right on point, it'd be about 7,500.
Right.
So that's just maybe an oversight on my part, I didn't catch it. But, so what I'm gonna do is adjust that rate, because what it was is we get whatever we get that month, I billed off that 8,000 monthly. So now I just gotta adjust that rate, whatever, now it's like 333. It used to be like just over 670, I think is what we charged when we get fuel, for the month. We split it that way. Because I can't really go gallon for gallon, because I can't be guaranteed that every person's right and they're exact, you know what I mean? Some people forget, and so it's more accurate, it's more, just to do it that way.
Page 3, the Series 2014 bonds, we have, again, 91% of our levies are in. Payments been made, we have another 306,000 due on May 1st, and we have 426,000 available, so we're good there. Page 5, the irrigation fund. That looks good, and this is the 31st of January, the golf course still owes the irrigation fund $155,000. Did we pay any of that through February? I thought I maybe saw a part of it I could pay.
We paid all the past due that we had, like the monthly billings. We're
Right.
current with all monthly.
Okay.
So I think maybe the end of March or the end of April, we pay this back, and then we'll be zero.
Okay.
Okay. Irrigation fund, they also have 1% of their levies in so far. Line repairs, okay. Fluent looks a little slack off right in the summertime, how much affluent we get here, so it's a little bit higher for 33% of the year done. On page 7, the golf fund, we had $210,000 cash on the 31st. We have $345,000 as of last Friday. We have a payment of the 2014 bond of $49,000 on May 1st. And we have sufficient funds by that time. The new account here is the reserve for the 2019, the $300,000 loan that we took out. And was it August of last year? I think it was.
Yes.
And so they're accruing money there now for there's $65,000 there, and there was a $61,000 payment due on February 1st. That's been made. And on the liabilities on next page, you can see the $155,000 due to the irrigation fund. And the notes payable showed up as a new line item there of $300,000. Looking at the golf course revenues for the months January last year to January this year, it was up quite a bit, $91,000 over last year, and $61,000 over our actual budget. All the way down in the bottom line, that change in position was $115,000 to the good, and it's $74,000 over budget. And that's because we had such a good month. I remember the last time we looked at this, we were like $40,000 under budget, right? So January has made up, and that's something for January. On the year-to-date basis, we're $34,000 over budget on the revenue. Consolidated earnings, $52,000. Down at the bottom line, net change is $96,000 to the good. So we made up the $41,000 short from prior months.
And can I talk about one thing real quick?
Sure.
When we look at supplies in the snack bar, we're over budget by about $1,600, and we're averaging, $800-900 a month. I don't know if there's an answer to this, but, a lot of the cost in supplies has got to do with styrofoam cups, lids, and straws. we spend a lot of money in styrofoam cups, and I made a joke today when I was filling up the cups and getting some more straws and lids. I wonder what ocean we're gonna fill up today. And it's a joke, but in a way it's not. I mean, you know, environmentally, we create a ton of styrofoam. And I would say that, you know, maybe there might be some solution down the road. I don't know exactly what it is to that. And if you play golf, don't get 2 cups. Just get 1. You know, there's other places on the golf course to get some water. 2 cups, 2 lids, 2 straws. You know, not only is the cost, but there's also the environmental cost of that, you know? I mean, we're creating a ton of trash.
Well, how about, like, I'm a lot older than you are, but back in the old days,
Many moons ago.
they used to have like wax-coated paper, right? And that's where your drinks were. That's what you know, little fluids, you know? Not styrofoam.
The little fluids.
I don't know if they make those things nowadays, but,
I think they're more expensive.
well, I'm
This,
sure it is.
that green, going green tends to be more expensive now, you know.
I'm sure it is more expensive.
We looked at paper straws, and it was like a big cost increase. We looked at, you know, the paper cups. Like some of the clubs have done that. They've gone to the Go Green stuff,
Right.
but it is more cost. I mean, you know,
Well, yeah, if you want to be environmentally sensitive, I'm all for that personally, you know.
I mean, I am too. I mean, you know, like I see, you see the news, like there's stuff floating up in the oceans.
It's
and
disgusting.
It's awful. But, you know, I don't know how to say to the consumer, hey, bring your own cup.
Interesting, I played at a member guest, and the member guest gift that everybody got was a metal cup.
Turvis tumbler?
Service tumbler, one of those things. And, you know, they actually were saying, use this, because we're cutting down on cups. Bring your, and
Oh.
they came right out and said, I know we can't.
Lloyd, you witness this. The moment those cups run out, it's like somebody died. There's no cups out here. What do I do?
It's a panic.
Hold on, I'll get you some cups.
Buy a bottle of water.
And we got plastic.
And then we create, I mean, it's a no-win scenario, and I get it. I mean, it's hot. You want a glass of water. I drink water out there all the time. I love it. I got my cup, and I try to keep the same cup all day, but I don't know. There's got to be some point where we go, okay, here's the solution. And maybe this Go Green thing will start reducing in price, and we can do that.
Yeah.
We can't drive our costs up. Because if you look at the supply, you know, at the supply and the profitability of the snack bar, that really cuts down on the profitability of the snack bar is the price of styrofoam cups, lids, and straws. And maybe that's something in the future budget. We look at taking that out and add it somewhere else. But anyway, just food for thought.
Discount cups to tell everybody they have to bring their own.
Larry, why don't you look into the cost of going green?
Well, I will do that, 100%. That'll happen.
We can make
I'll
a
have it for you.
decision as a board whether we want to be environmentally sensitive and responsible or not.
I'll have that for you in the next meeting.
Okay.
So we got,
Yeah, I know.
we go through tons.
Yeah, and so green fees are way up,
It's ridiculous.
because of good weather and play.
To go green ones.
And as Jeff alluded to, range fees look kind of strange because they look down when you have so much more play. That might be just the way it's getting counted. I don't know. Might be going into the wrong keys on the register or something. I have no idea. And then bank charges and card fees. Bank charges, we're told we're going to be less with their new vendor, and it's more.
Yeah, I got to call in about that. I'll have answers for you.
And then cart lease should actually be right on because, we knew what the lease amounts were. We put that into the budget, so I don't know why that's a little strange. Other than that,
Well, there was some
tangible tax.
tangible tax added to it.
Right.
And that's just,
Doesn't that just get hit once when you purchase something, right?
Yes, sir.
So that should have been years ago, right?
Yeah.
Unless they just passed it on.
Well, actually, no, this one comes through from the county. That's it's each year.
Each year? Okay.
Yeah, because you actually don't get it in the lease from the finance company. It's on a tangible schedule through the county. they found another way to generate some revenue, and you're not exempt from it.
Okay, so we need to budget that in.
Yeah.
If it's an annual thing.
Well, not that it matters, and I guess, we can add a line for the tax. There is a line for taxes in the administrative portion of the financials.
Yeah.
And I suggested we move that tax out of the cart lease and over to that line that clearly says taxes, and I was told no.
Yeah, because it takes the expense out of the golf fund, puts it into the general fund, which we can't do that.
Well, it's not the general fund, it's the golf fund, administrative golf fund.
Oh.
Page,
Gotcha.
there's a line for tax. I mean, it's 6 of one, a half dozen the other, but when we set out the budget for the cart lease, we are budgeting the exact lease, not tangible tax.
All about presentation. If you want to
We can just change it for
have a
next
full
year.
understanding of what your operations are costing, then it needs to stay where it is. Otherwise, if you want to put in administrative, that's fine. It's all in the same fund. So I think the only pushback would be that it does modify the accuracy of the department's actual cost. That's up to you all. So
We can just add another line next year for cart lease tax and just
And
put
just
that,
split it out
Yeah,
in that
split it
same
out.
thing.
That'll be fine.
yep.
Okay.
And John's maintenance budget is 15,000 under last year for the month, and 71,000 under for the year-to-date, 75,000 under budget. So looks pretty good. And that's it.
Can I have a motion to accept the financials?
Make a motion to accept the financials.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Let's go on to the minutes. The first change I have, under those presently, as Joe Micah is M-I-K-A.
Yeah, and throughout the whole report.
Yeah,
And also Dan Maurer, his last name is M-A-R-R-A, and that's throughout the report.
okay.
What was that one again?
M-A-R-R-A, Dan Maurer.
And drop the H. Okay. Both of those are throughout.
Yep.
Anything else on the first page? Second page?
63, I guess, is Ms. Crosby, not Mr. Crosby.
Yes.
You should miss hours if you want to be completely
Oh,
correct.
that's right, it's, yeah. It's, how do you spell that last
That's
name?
she called.
O-U-R-S.
Oh, okay.
You are.
73, it says flags would be installed by the next meeting, but it was what do you call those things?
Those little things at the bottom.
Fine.
Oh, the ball retrievers?
Yeah, I couldn't get the flag out of the hole one day with those things on there.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good to know. I've heard very little feedback on it. I haven't heard anything negative, so.
I stopped trying because I just couldn't get the
Really? Well, it wasn't the ring though, it was probably the ferrule of the flag maybe, got sandy.
Yeah, I thought it was great. First time I picked it up, great.
Because we sat there and did it 20, 30 times.
Have some Wheaties before.
Eat them.
Didn't want to break it off. You know how expensive.
You don't like them?
It's all right, whatever. It is what it is.
Thank you. No more bending over.
Yeah, I know.
Ironically, I believe I lean over and still pull it out of the cup.
Just don't remember it's there?
Yeah. It's funny, I just played this past weekend, and that's what I did. Huh. To try this new technology.
Page 3.
Just a question on 106, because I don't remember the golf course having reserve funds. Just
Is there,
No.
okay. Page 4. Page 5. accept the minutes as amended.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
All in favor? Opposed? Dan, do you have anything else for us? Dan?
I was scrambling to find the mute button.
Struggling to find the mute button.
Okay. Okay. Johnson Engineering's not here. Chuck, do you have anything?
Well, Johnson Engineering and myself met here on site a couple of weeks ago, drove around on all of the roadway system in here, short of the boulevard coming in, and they are in the process of preparing a report for you. So it'll be a comprehensive report for all of the roads, putting together their current condition, what the future life expectancy is based upon the type of road it is, and when we'll be looking at needing to do some repairs and what those current cost opinions are.
Okay.
There's on a lot of these cul-de-sacs, we noticed a lot of wear. The road leading into it in really great shape, but you get back to the cul-de-sac with the turning radius and the heavy garbage trucks, things of that nature, are tearing it up a little bit. Your sidewalks were in great shape. You've got a few gutter issues here and there, but nothing significant, and certainly at this point, from what we saw, things that can be held off until you actually do the roads. You do your curb repairs and then curbs and gutters, then you come in and mill and asphalt. So, but don't be surprised if you see his report say that on some of these roads, maybe the next couple of years we're doing the cul-de-sacs, but we're not doing the entire stretch of the road. It would not be his recommendation, because you've got a lot more useful life still. So generally in pretty good shape. The east-west road is the one that has the most wear and tear on it, which we get that anyway. So.
Right.
To Chuck's point, there is a lot of curbing issues on the cul-de-sac, so just little chips missing out, little chunks here and there, and even on the center median, as a matter of fact. There's just, if you pay attention, I know it's kind of hard doing 25, 30 mile an hour to see them, but there's spots here and there, especially on the cul-de-sacs. There's all, the big trucks get back here and they're backing up, and they got to get that back tire in there and grind on it. So, it's good to know that that's part of that, because I was wondering if that was on us or if that was part of the road process.
And we found what we believe has been a buried manhole cover. One of the cul-de-sacs, there's a ring in the asphalt that's the same size as a manhole ring, and as you look down the road, the next manhole is about 300 feet away, which is the proper spacing, and you can't find a manhole anywhere in that area. They apparently covered it up with asphalt.
Oh, that was nice.
So that would be part of his report as well. He was going to confirm that through the construction plans.
Lloyd?
Yeah, there has been some new guidance given by FEMA on how they're going to evaluate claims in the future, that we probably will need to reevaluate the maintenance agreement between the district and the association.
Yeah, and that may be what Dan's referring to is post-IRMA in the handbook, the new policies with regards to special districts, and they call out specifically CDDs, and the need for the CDD to not only be the owner, operator, and it needs to be open to the general public. Well, the way your gate operates now is pretty much a free flowing system, so that's not an issue. And yes, you own the roads, but you do have an operating agreement with the HOA, and we may want to take a look at reverting that back and putting that into the CDD and let us do all of the roadway maintenance, so we can keep ourselves available to FEMA reimbursements. What's that?
It's necessary, so.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be necessary.
Yeah.
Is there like an effective date for that, or?
That was in 2018. I think it was May 2018. The ink was barely dry on our FEMA grants from IRMA, and all of a sudden they were making policy changes.
And that's just specifically to the roads.
Well, keep in mind is your primary reimbursement was Cat A. Cat A was landscape material down blocking roads and sidewalks and creating public access, safety, health, and welfare issues. So pulling those out. Now, you need to be the owner, operator, and it needs to be open to the public in order for them to be able to reimburse you. You have an operating agreement with the association, kind of muddles that responsibility. So I think it's probably, it could be as simple as perhaps including a paragraph in that talks about under cases of acts of God, the CDD retains responsibility, reverts responsibility for that specific issue. I don't know if you've thought that through or not, Dan, but maybe something as simple as that.
Yeah, it's not going to be difficult to resolve, but we're going to have to resolve it.
Lloyd?
Yeah, I mentioned there at one time, an agreement between the two. It was revised, and that was never signed. It fell by the wayside. I had worked on it when I was on the board previously, and then,
How long ago was that?
well,
Because I have one that's signed, where we took back the landscaping.
Yeah, it was bad.
no, that's an old one.
That's the one that we upgraded and gave you guys and got it back.
It was in 2000, must have been 18, because I was on the board in
Well, it
19.
was, I think about 14 on that one.
Yeah,
Well, that's an old.
Yeah, that's going to work on that. We worked
There's
out
a new
one
one
2 years
that's,
ago.
that's written revised, and I think I sent it out to everybody, but it was never signed.
never seen it. The only thing I recall coming up as of late was an
Yeah, right there.
the thing that came up as of late was an affirmation as to who was taking on responsibility for the perimeter walls, as I recall.
Well, that was before, but that's the one he's got, he's lined up. I sent that out.
That's revised the agreement.
Well, I need a copy of it because I haven't seen it, so
Well,
it doesn't get on the agenda unless I get a copy of it, so.
I sent it out to you. When I go to the board, it goes to you. The other thing is, you mentioned the sidewalks. We take care of those.
You do. That may change in the future, but right now, yes, you take care of those as well as the
Every
roads.
year, we budget,
Yeah. And they were in great shape from what we saw. Really.
we just had some done, and we got some more to do back here.
Yeah, didn't see any triple
That will
college.
affect your budget this year.
I'm sorry, Dan?
What, Dan?
That will affect your budget this year.
Yeah.
You're going to have to realign the responsibilities for maintenance and all that to try to meet the job line. Or you have to run all the.
Yeah, no, we're talking another subject altogether, Dan. I think we're gonna probably melt the two together and bring them back as an addendum.
Yeah, we need to redo that.
Yeah, if you can get me a copy of that, because I know I haven't seen it. Somebody's got it.
Yeah.
I need a working version of it. Do you have like a Word document version of it so we can go ahead and have Dan review it and edit and...
I don't have it on my computer, no. That was, Bill might have it. 'Cause
I might have it.
I started and it ended up he took over on it.
That would make it a lot easier to have that. Then we can add this other provision in there as well and call it addendum number 2 or whatever.
What are you saying about repairs?
December 2000.
What we are talking about is the district right now is having the engineer put together a comprehensive future re-asphalting repair, which is something that,
We make the repairs and then you guys.
this is like a useful life repair. So extending to a useful life, resetting the useful life, and then you would normally maintain it. What we're talking about is perhaps adding an additional provision in there that says, under an act of God scenario, the district automatically retains back responsibility for operation and maintenance of those roads until such time as that particular event has passed. What that will do is put us in a position where we can clear those roads, take all those costs, and submit for reimbursement from FEMA. If in fact you are still responsible under the agreement, we wouldn't be able to do that. So we got to have some provision in there for that. And that's all that would be affected that we're proposing right now.
If you get a chance, I'd like to have a report, that report that you're talking about.
We're hoping everybody's going to get that at the March meeting, so.
Okay,
Yeah, he's working on it right now.
all right.
Okay.
I have nothing else other than your audit is in full swing at this point, so.
I just noticed that back of the irrigation, there's 3 or 4 of homeowners who owe this money for water. Seem to disappear, make it into the budget.
Yeah, I was looking for that. Did they pay off?
I got that. I know I haven't signed any releases for the record this month, so
Okay.
it's just oversight and that's a report that page didn't mention it, so.
It's too hopeful.
Which one was that?
That's that page, we've got a short list of non-payers that have continued to carry out.
I don't know if anybody noticed the zero-use report, how small it is.
Yeah. My bill went way up.
Did it? Could use all that water.
Doing a good job there. Mike, do you have anything?
Nope, I'm good.
Chris, do you have anything? Any exciting things on the email?
No, just some odds and ends, some thanks for
So, John, you're going to get us like an estimate on what it's going to cost to renew the playground?
Yeah, expand it out. Yeah, absolutely.
Do we need that space that we took once for those, for the carts?
Well, it's funny you say that. I talked to Tony the other day, who's been the car guy that's up there since the opening. You know that hedge, and there's like that pillar, there's a little bit of fencing there? I talked to Tony, if we took that out, we could open that space where, TAQ is now giving us access, that we're going